recently visited the Villages, Florida, and you'll never guess what happened next.
I'm standing in your prototypical neighborhood in the Villages, Florida. With its tidy little homes all resembling each other and its perfectly coiffed lawns, one might better call this Pleasantville. This is what it may have felt like living in the United States in the suburbs in the 1950s.
Somewhere, almost smack dab in the middle of Florida, between Orlando and Tampa, there exists a place where it is rumored the residents drink from the Fountain of Youth. This is a place where coexistence occurs on many levels. From wildlife coexisting with humans, youth coexisting with the elderly, and even golf carts coexisting with automobiles. This utopian city, where snowbirds from both the northern US and Canada flock to escape the cold and snow, is, as mentioned, the Villages. What makes this place so popular amongst the seniors isn't the sunshine and balmy temperatures. No, the Villages is too far north compared to other Florida cities to be guaranteed hot weather in December and January. Most likely, what makes the Villages so popular are the endless activities that are available to satiate just about any interest. For those wanting to pursue physical fitness, there are of course the activities that are synonymous with any senior community. Golf still reigns supreme, with over 50 courses that weave through the tidy little communities. There is shuffleboard, tennis, and lawn bowling. There are even sports I have never seen before visiting here, such as beach tennis and platform tennis. However, the increasingly popular game of pickleball seems to be vying for the title of the most highly participated activity in all of the Villages. In fact, it could be argued that the Villages is now the pickleball mecca of North America with its jaw-dropping 223 courts. For those less interested in physical activities but are still looking for fellowship, the Villages offers a seemingly endless amount of clubs. If you have an interest, there is a club for it. Case in point, in advance of my visit to the Villages, my wife asked if there happened to be a drone club. No way, I thought. Well, in fact, there is. There are approximately 3,000 clubs in the Villages, and those clubs meet in the 90 regional, neighborhood, and village rec centers scattered all throughout the area. As the old saying goes in the Villages, if you are bored here, it is nobody's fault but your own. The name The Villages is, to be blunt, a misnomer, as it is anything but a village. As of 2020, the population of the Villages was approximately 130,000 and covers roughly 32 square miles, which is an area larger than Manhattan. Designed by the same firm that worked on Universal Studios, Spanish Springs was the first town square opened in 1994. Today, there are a total of 3 town squares, each surrounded by retail shops, restaurants, banks, and other services. At the center of each square, there is an area where residents can gather to take in free, live, evening entertainment 365 days of the year. With its small bars surrounding the squares and camouflaged with such names as Bait Shack, one can enjoy a libation or two while dancing, or simply sit and enjoy watching the performers. Each of the squares has a motif that is reminiscent of a past time and place in the US. By virtue of its name, one would correctly assume that Spanish Springs pays homage to the early Spanish settlers of Florida. This square features bright, terracotta-like buildings, while boasting a large fountain with make-believe ruins running along the perimeter. There is Brownwood Paddock, a Western-themed square which is a tribute to the early Floridian cattle farmers, And finally, there is Sumter Landing, which is designed to feel like a colorful, quaint seaside village with a boardwalk running along Lake Sumter. Despite the fact that the Villages has a great network of car-worthy roads, most residents own a golf cart. There are paths that are designated for golf carts, bikes, and foot traffic known as multimodal paths. And these paths even include underpasses for crossing heavily trafficked roads, along with mini golf cart size roundabouts akin to those found in Europe. Like owners of cars, residents take pride in their cart rides, modifying them with so many unique designs and styles. I'm surprised that someone hasn't come up with a reality TV program called Pimp My Cart. Even the recreation centers are designed with certain themes that are indicative of their namesake. Seabreeze Rec Center, for example, looks like it was designed by Tommy Bahama. Its nautical theme and soft pastel colors evoke a warm, après-beach feel, where the Eisenhower Rec Center pays homage to the very proud branches and history of the U.S. military. Not just anyone can own a home in the Villages. There is a restriction that forbids anybody under the age of 55 to own. With that said, it is legal for younger people to live in the Villages. Florida law allows for up to 20% of people in an age-restricted retirement community to be under 55. The Villages isn't close to meeting that cap. 95% of its residents over the last 5 years were older adults, according to census data. In a nutshell, this is Pleasantville, a place where passers-by wave a hearty good morning or afternoon and even stop to chat. Despite what some people may want you to believe, however, the Villages is not all rainbows and butterflies. Once you peel back the shiny synthetic veneer, there are warts. First, there is the daily newspaper, perhaps not so coincidentally called The Sun. They are apparently mandated to not print anything but positive news. This propaganda allows the villagers to believe that even the news is nothing but rosy. This should not come as a great surprise, as the Villages is known to be a Republican stronghold. Not that any of this is a problem, but one just has to be aware that the residents' political views were commonly shared, at least more so to me than anywhere else I've ever traveled. Even if one's political views are not vocalized, there are reminders around the Villages of people's political persuasions, including flags that read Trump 2024, or the not-so-subtle flag that reads Impeach Biden. Trump is everywhere down here, from hats to pins to even pool toys. Maybe the single biggest item of infamy the Villages is known for, however, is the rumor of rampant couples swinging. How this rumor was ever perpetuated remains a mystery to anyone I asked. Perhaps it was past instances of arrests for public drunken sex, most notably when 68-year-old Peggy Clem was detained for having sex in public with a man younger to her by 19 years. More realistically, it is the fact that sometimes people forget just how big the Villages is. 130,000 people is not a small community by any stretch. Take just about any other city, town, or community in the country of that size, and I'm sure you will find that sex, drugs, and alcohol are all available in certain quantities there too. I think it just interests people more because these aren't the kinds of activities you'd expect to hear retirees partaking in, even if it is just a small percentage of the population. Everyone thinks a retirement community should be all lemonade and shuffleboard, but these are real people, and to my knowledge, they are built and wired up the same way as people everywhere else. The Villages is not for everyone, but then again, where is there a place in the world that is? You don't have to enjoy golf and pickleball, and you don't have to own a golf cart, join a club, or be social. However, any or all of the aforementioned can really make a visit here that much more fulfilling.